So, this happened. Yes, on June 30th, 2022, KD officially requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. This comes right after Kyrie accepted his player option to return to the Brooklyn Nets, which led many of us to think that KD and Kyrie were going to give it one more year. But it's apparent that that will not be happening. With this trade request from KD and the departure of Kyrie from Brooklyn, I think it's safe to assume that the super team chapter is over for the NBA, at least as of right now. But also, it opens another chapter in Kevin Durant's career. But this chapter might be his most important one yet. Now, I think it's safe to say that KD's chapter in Brooklyn was a complete failure. On June 30th, 2019, Durant announced that he planned to sign with the Brooklyn Nets via sign and trade that gave the Warriors D'Angelo Russell. Now, as we all know, Durant missed his first season with Brooklyn due to Achilles injury he suffered against the Raptors in the finals. On December 22nd, 2020, Durant made his official Nets debut. In this debut, he put up 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals in a blowout win against the Golden State Warriors. Midway through the season, he and Kyrie felt like they were one piece away. This one piece, of course, as we all know, was James Harden. They brought in James Harden on a multi-team trade, but Harden struggled with a hamstring injury for majority of the season and just didn't look like himself. In his first full season with the Nets, he put up impressive numbers considering he was coming straight off of an Achilles injury. He averaged 26.9 points, 5.6 assists, 7.1 rebounds, and shot 53.7% from the field. That year, Brooklyn finished with a 48-24 record, and that record was good enough to secure them the second seed in the East. They beat Boston in the first round, and going into the second round, they were prepared to face Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Brooklyn will lose this game in 7, but that was not in due part to Kevin Durant's performance. In Game 7, Kevin Durant put up 48 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal on 47.2% from the field, including an amazing turnaround shot that sent the game into overtime. And in overtime, we didn't really see much of Kevin Durant, but I digress. This Game 7 performance, along with the potential of a healthy Kyrie and healthy James Harden, had many of us feeling very optimistic about the Brooklyn Nets next season. And I would like to assume Kevin Durant was as well, as on August 8, 2021, he signed a 4-year, $198 million extension with the Brooklyn Nets. But they were unable to live up to these expectations as Kyrie had to sit out majority of the season due to his stance on the vaccine. And midway through the season, we found out James Harden was not happy in Brooklyn, and shortly after, he was shipped out. Now, these things didn't really affect KD too much, as he still had an MVP caliber season, as he put up 29.9 points per game, 6.4 assists per game, 7.4 rebounds per game on 51.8% from the field. And these numbers will help lead the Brooklyn Nets to a 44-38 record, the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, where they would win the play-in, and in the first round, they had to face the Boston Celtics. Now, many people thought this series was going to go at least 6 games, but we quickly realized after the first game that this was not the case. KD was embarrassed this entire series, and due to KD not having a good series along with Kyrie, they were swept 4-0 by the Boston Celtics, and this is the first time Durant has been swept in his entire NBA career. Now, the reason why I believe this might be the most important chapter thus far in Kevin Durant's career is because, let's face it, KD will be 34 in September, and his window to stay at the superstar level is closing. And as we saw in the Boston Celtics series, it looks like that Achilles injury kind of affected his explosiveness a little bit. And with all these things happening, it leaves KD a very small window to do what many players of his caliber have done before, which is lead a team to a championship without it being a super team. We saw Giannis do it this past year. We saw Steph do it this past year as well. And we've seen LeBron do it twice. So why can't KD do it? I know many people like to rank him above a Stephen Curry. Some people have even argued he's above a Larry Bird. But I just don't see how, as Stephen Curry has been able to lead the team to a championship while being the number one twice, and Larry Bird has done it a multitude of times as well, and KD just hasn't done it yet. And he's been in the same situation that all these players I just named have been in. I mean, he had full control of a team like a LeBron this year and these past 3 years with the Nets in that field. He's also been in a situation like Steph where he had a good roster put around him with an all-star caliber player next to him, and he failed with that too. So this next chapter might be KD's final chance to prove the statement wrong that he can't lead the team to a championship if it's not a super team. Now, KD did give us his list of teams, and at the top were the Suns and the Miami Heat. Now, Brooklyn doesn't have to trade him to any of these teams because he doesn't have a no-trade clause, but it is also very possible that KD does get to go to a team of his choice that he put on his list. Now, a team like Phoenix could offer a potential trade package of DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and a few picks, but it has been reported that the Nets will not trade with the Suns unless the Suns will give up Devin Booker. And the other team that he mentioned, the Miami Heat, they really don't have a real package to put together. They can't trade Bam because the Nets have Ben Simmons, who's on a rookie max extension, and Bam is as well. And the NBA has a rule that prevents two players on rookie max extensions to be on the same roster with each other. Now, a sleeper team that could have the assets to trade for KD could be the Pelicans. They could put a package together of Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, a couple picks. But at the end of the day, there's no telling where KD will go. We would just have to wait and see. Now, this KD trade request also means a lot for the league, as we might be done with the super team era. It just doesn't seem like any team will want to front load their team with stars and not having really much of anything around it after the embarrassing fail of the Nets and the Lakers and many other super teams in the past. Now, it's not just super teams that will take a hit from this, it's also the superstars. It's hard to see that many teams are willing to give their superstars all the power after what happened not only in Brooklyn, but also with the Lakers this past season. Now, this KD saga solidifies the biggest failure in NBA history, and the effects from this will be felt for decades. It also leaves us with a lot of uncertainty. Where will KD go? What team was willing to forfeit their entire future for Kevin Durant? And lastly, where's this guy going to go? Not only time will tell what will happen with KD and where he'll go, and the same with Kyrie and where he'll go. But one thing we know for sure is that Steph is about to get really crazy in free agency these next few weeks. You guys in the comments, let me know what y'all think is going to happen. Make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell to catch me next time. Peace.